Welcome back to the Real Estate Play-by-Play.
So with 2024 kicking off, kids at school have to write their goals, right? We do our vision boards, kids at school do their goals. So my son came home and he had done his goals for 2024. And one of his goals on there was he wanted to play at a D1 college.
Yeah.
And I think with the hopes of in the future going on to be pro.
Right.
And, you know, I'm sure that's a lot of kids at this age. He's 13.
Yeah.
And they watch their favorite players on TV. They watch their favorite teams. And that's their goal. They want to go pro.
Right. Yeah. My daughter wanted the same, you know, at the beginning of high school when she made varsity cheerleader, she had these dreams of playing in the NFL as a cheerleader and, you know, and then years of high school cheer takes its toll, right? And dreams change a little bit and they're not necessarily wanting the work that goes along with those awesome goals.
Right.
Right. And she's a great cheerleader, but it takes a lot of work to go pro.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of work. And, you know, I see for my son, I see him putting in a ton of time, right? And they're doing extra trainings. They're doing nutrition. They're listening to coaches on what they should be eating, drinking, their protein shakes, their workouts, their, you know, trainings. And like you kind of said, like, you know, she went through and was a cheerleader and did all the time. And I think there is at some point a burnout factor.
100%.
Which I'm very well aware of. And so for my kids, I have them playing multiple sports.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to keep them playing these sports as long as possible because of that. I don't want them to play one sport and burn out.
Yeah.
Because that could happen.
Yeah.
And just like in sports, it's the same thing with real estate.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes people see the career of real estate and the career of mortgage kind of in its best light, right? You see the social media version, which is, you know, getting to work while you travel and getting to be there for your kids' events and getting to do all the things. And people think that it's easy.
Yeah.
Right. And that the high producers and the ones who are, you know, in that top 1% are just, it's easy.
It's easy. And, you know, I get a lot of people over the years. I've had a lot of moms over the years come to me and want to get their real estate license. And I think there is that perception. You know, I have 4 kids. I've been room parent. I'm driving my kids all and going to all their games. What they don't realize, and what I think a lot of people don't realize, is it is a hustle. Being in real estate.
That is.
It is a hustle. And it's not just a hustle 9 to 5. It's a hustle 24/7. So I'm at these games, but I have my computer in the back of my car.
Yeah.
And in between the games, I'm in my car writing an offer or I'm on a call or I'm, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't necessarily see. And so when new people come to me and say, I want to get my license, it's interesting because I don't want to deter people.
Right.
You know, because I did it. So and somebody else could do
career,
it.
Right.
I mean, it's an amazing career.
Yeah.
But I also try to preface that with, hey, it's a lot of work.
Right.
You know, and you're going to be working like this week is a perfect example. You know, we were talking about how busy the last week or two has been now into the new year and buyers are coming out and wanting to buy and the thought of rates going down. And I've spent every single night this week with clients till about 8:30. And then I'm on my computer for another 2 or 3 hours.
Right.
So
yeah, it's a juggle. And so I thought it would be fun if we kind of just dive into that a little bit more in this episode and just talk about what it really looks like to be in the real estate and mortgage professions as a working mom, as a top 1% in your industry. You know, what does it really look like on a day-to-day? Because the truth is it's not for everyone. Right?
No.
Just like going pro is not for everyone.
Right. And do you know how many times I've said to like my mom who will call me in the morning, I'm on like a mad dash to get all the kids out the door. If somebody filmed my life, like, you know, one of those reality series, it would be like a comedy. Yeah. It would be like a comedy.
I've had a few people tell me that there should be reality cameras following my life because it's nuts.
It is.
It's nuts.
But you know, my husband will probably attest to this because he is not, and maybe it's just men in general. They don't crave being busy like women. Like you have the type of personality, Danielle. Yeah. I think it's similar to me. We kind of we feed off of being busy.
The truth is that when life gives me a slowdown, I just find more projects to keep busy again because I can't handle the downtime. I don't even know what to do with it.
Right. It's like that saying, you can rest when you die. It's like, that's what plays in my head. Like, yeah.
I'm like, sleep. Okay.
Sleep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't need sleep. But the truth is that it's a daily grind. And you said it best. It's a 24-hour a day job, right? I mean, we are always truly on call. In order to be successful in this business, you have to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken a vacation where I haven't been available.
No, I would totally agree. And I'll tell you what else is really stressful. I will get legit anxiety if I know we're going somewhere and I don't know if there's full internet access.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember when you traveled somewhere on the other side of the world and you were like a different time zone.
Oh, yeah.
And I was stressed for you.
Well, I do that intentionally. I mean, that's what's so crazy, right? So I picked our vacation destination because we wanted to go take a trip before the summer ended. And I'm like, okay, where can I go that's at least 9 hours ahead? Because then I can work from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. every night. It'll be morning in California. And I can have the whole day, uninterrupted, right? And so I settled on Egypt. It was incredible. I did. I worked every single night. I just set up shop at 4 p.m. and I worked until I couldn't see straight anymore, and that made it till about 2 in the afternoon at home where I was able to pass off to my team. But it was great because during the day there, this is the insanity, right?
Yeah.
During the day there, it was middle of the night at home. My email was quiet. Yeah. I remember we were on a cruise boat thing and I was just laying there enjoying the silence because you don't have that at home because during the day you're always available. You're checking your email, you're responding to things even if you're not actively working in that moment.
Right. And I think in today's day and age, we're so attached to our phones and our devices. And also I think people are used to us getting back to them right away. Yeah. If somebody calls me and I don't answer the phone and I don't call them back in the next 20 minutes, I'm getting another call and I'm getting a text and I'm getting and it's not just from clients, it's from other realtors. Right. We live in this day and age where we are expected to be on and get back to people right away.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that this is the right way to live per se, the way that we live, because that could definitely be argued.
Yeah.
But it's what it takes. It's what it takes to have multiple kids. We have so many kids we can't even count. And to be a successful mortgage broker and realtor. It just is. That's what it takes.
Yeah. I mean, I truthfully, I don't think it could be done any other way. Right. And, moms are good at juggling. Moms are good at multitasking already.
Master jugglers.
But I really enjoyed this career raising kids. So I've raised 4 children now. I was able to go on all their field trips, but I was always in the back of the line, responding to emails on the way. I was able to participate in all those things, take the kids on all the experiences that they wanted to experience, but I had to work at the same time. Right. And for me, that was a great trade-off.
It's the trade-off. And you have to be willing to do the trade-off.
Right.
And
I think if you were to go back and ask all 4 of my, now adult children what their experience was of them growing up, I was always working. That's the truth. I was always working. And I'm okay with that because I feel like I set an absolutely incredible example for my kids of, dedication and passion for your job. I mean, I love what I do. And I love that I got to have it all.
I would agree. I would agree. Yeah.
But I mean,
there's something to be said. At least that's what I tell myself too.
Yeah. Might be a self-preservation tactic. I don't know. But how many times can you count that you and I have exchanged emails or texts after 10 p.m.? I couldn't even count.
Yeah, it's a lot.
A lot.
She's probably the only person that's up that will respond that late at night to me. So
yeah, but that's how you get it done, right? Yeah. You catch up on all the stuff that doesn't require client interaction in those hours when kids go to bed. My life was such that when the kids slept, 8, 9 o'clock, that's when I would start round 2. Right. Kind of take a little mini lunch break at 3 or 4 to get them home from school and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, and then you're kind of going back at it.
Yeah.
And then at night, a lot of times too, buyers and sellers, they work during the day.
Right.
So a lot of times my appointments with them are going to be in the evening time.
Yeah.
Around 5, 6, 7, even 8 o'clock at night. whether it's on the phone or it's
especially
in
on the real
person.
estate
So,
side, right? I
yeah.
mean, we're a little bit sheltered from that on the mortgage side, but not fully. I mean, if somebody is seeing houses on the weekend and they need a pre-approval letter, I absolutely am going to be available to get it to them. I'm not going to let my clients miss out on a property because I wanted some downtime.
Right.
It's just not how that works.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
so funny story. I had surgery 5 years ago, and I work with my husband, and so from the recovery bay, the nurse comes out to the waiting room and says she wants her laptop. And he's like, no, that's not a good idea. This was a major surgery. And she's like, no, I don't think you understand. She is requiring her laptop. I got
I'm not
it.
surprised.
I got it.
It does not
and
surprise
I did get
me.
some
At
things
least.
done. I don't think they were very coherent, but that's the kind of
Mentality.
intertwinement of life that this business can take
100%.
if you want to do it all, right? And nobody says that you have to.
No.
do
And
it
this is
all.
not for everyone.
It's not.
But I think that's what, so this past year I was listening to Brian Buffini and he was telling me that a couple 100,000 agents in the last few months have dropped off.
Yeah.
And I think when, you have a year, 2023 that we've had, that the numbers just came out, that it's been the worst year since 1995.
Yeah.
Which means, agents just work, and same with mortgage, you're working on commissions.
Yeah.
So if you're not closing transactions, you're not getting any money. You don't get a paycheck. So you can only stay in the business so long in order to pay your bills. And so when agents are dropping off, so many agents are dropping off because it's so bad, you can see why.
Yeah.
And being a new agent right now in this industry, I wouldn't
tough.
want to be a new agent right now in this industry.
It's so
hard.
Tough. Yeah. I read a statistic too about 2 years ago that said that like 40% of the licensed loan officers had gotten their license in the last like 2 years, right? So you had people who became licensed loan officers in order to take advantage of the refi boom, which is great, right? Interest rates were low. There was a lot of business. There was more business than any one person could handle. People got into the business to do that. But a lot of those people are now gone.
Right.
Right? I mean, they're just
You can't sustain
gone.
it. Yeah.
And what I think is important when you get into this business is you have to really identify, like, what do you want out of this career? Is this something that you're just riding out a short wave for, or is this your career? Like, I'm not going anywhere. 2023 was hard, but we closed more than we did in 2018. We are doing the constant work no matter what.
Right.
I
And I
mean-
started my own team in
Yeah,
2023
you grew, right?
and we killed it. We hit some of our goals and we did great.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another topic as to, being a new agent, if you should go to a team versus not going to a team, and you probably see that too in your industry. If you should grow, you have a newbie coming on, learning from somebody, all the things.
It's the decision that I think everyone has to make when they get into this business is, what do you want your business to look like? I think people see this profession kind of as like a side gig in a lot of times. And they go, I can kind of just do it on the side while I do this. And I think very few people sit down and write a business plan, write their expectations, their goals, reverse engineer their goals into what it's going to require on daily activity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hardest, right? Is the daily activity when nobody's telling you what to do.
Well, and put in the time too. You absolutely have to be self-motivated.
Yeah.
Because no one's telling you what to do in this industry.
If I want to sleep in and stay in bed all day, nobody will stop me.
No, it's
except
true.
the fact that I won't have
You're your own
money
boss.
to raise those 4 kids.
But it's true. So, a lot of times, you can do all those things, but unless you're able to put in the time,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to execute it.
Yeah.
And people get into this thinking, well, I'm going to do this 10 hours a week, maybe. I have a kid, I'm going to stay home with the kid, and I'm going to do this on the side.
It's tough.
In this day and age, that is going to be hard to maintain.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get anywhere near a reasonable, yearly income, unless you're putting in 30, 40, 50 hours a week.
I feel like I read a statistic somewhere that the average real estate agent across the country makes about like 30 to 40,000 a year, right? Which is fine. But when you start taking into consideration all the expenses that it takes to run your own business and all these things, and the amount of hours that have to get put in to do
And the
that.
amount of taxes that come out of it
Yeah,
too.
yeah, being self-employed is fun.
Yeah. You're not, at the end of the day, how much are you really making? So in order to be successful, I mean, you're working 50 hours a week or so.
Or more.
Or more. Or more.
I think
She
she's,
is back
I think
in
she's
my eyes.
undercutting her,
She's battling
her
my
daily
eyes.
workload.
This shows you work more.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, I just think that business plan really is probably the most important. When somebody goes into this field, figuring out exactly what they want out of this career and being willing to put in the work, right? Just like every little kid who's dreaming of becoming pro. That's awesome. You might want all of the rewards that come along with being pro, but do you really want the lifestyle that goes around with it, right?
Yeah.
The traveling, the being on the road, the living out of a suitcase, the daily work. And I think a lot of people the reality is they don't want the work that goes along with the role.
Exactly. The dream might be different than the actual reality. And deciding what you want, it's different for everyone.
Yeah. But if it were easy, there'd be more of us. So
Correct.
here we are.
Yeah.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Real estate play-by-play. Cheers.
Cheers.